Hey Aquarius, what's up? We're here with a timeless reading. In the pre-shuffle, I was seeing the Seven of Pentacles and the Lovers. We're starting off with the Three of Cups here. This can be you. Seven of Pentacles and the Lovers can be you wanting to spend time doing what you care about. Whatever it is that you prefer, like spending your time doing, whether this be like a project or hanging out with a certain person or like catching up on your sleep. I am seeing the Three of Cups and I'm seeing the Two of Wands. And so this can be like a plan to hang out, or like you're gonna go see your friends and then you're with them and then you're like, what do we do next? Or you could have gone on a date with somebody, now you're planning the second date. It's something where there's like a meeting of the minds, a meeting of the hearts that's happening. And Two of Wands is like, where are we going to take this next? Where do we go from here? This can also be you, it can be like going to a gathering. It can also be you making up with somebody too. Whatever it is, like starting off with the Three of Cups is a very happy place to be, especially socially for you. So you could have done something that felt good socially, something where you were like, wow, I'm glad that I went, or I'm glad that I talked to them. Feels like this changes something for you. Is something important, something pivotal here. Maybe though something that you're like, I don't know if I want it to change. I'm seeing a little bit of like anxiety over something that is definitely shifting a bit here. I feel like this is not completely, you don't completely have control over this. Some of you, one of your friends is getting pregnant. Pregnancy has been coming through in like a couple of the readings today, but I'm definitely getting a nod to that. That's not for everybody, but I am seeing there be something about that coming through, which can definitely change dynamics. The change that's happening, it's going to be fast. I'm not seeing this be something that's drawn out. It's going to be like very, very quick how this happens. It's almost like you move through it almost immediately. Maybe you also want to do... You could have felt like something was resonating with you like differently at this point in time. Like I almost feel that something could have been going on, or there could have been something that you were doing in the past where you were like, I feel like I've grown out of that, or I don't want to do it like that anymore. And I'm seeing that there's a change associated with that. It's almost like a correction. It seems like that may be happening. And I feel like that's why the Death card is here. Because it would kind of be like you find yourself traveling down a road and you feel like it's an expired route now. And so you sort of have to find another way to go. But I'm getting that sometimes those transitions take a long time. This one is not going to, is what I'm seeing. Because the Eight of Wands is with it. So it's going to happen quickly. Almost like you don't miss a beat here. And this change, it seems, was necessary as well, because it's growing with you as you're evolving. A lot of choices. Two of Swords came out, and also Two of Pentacles was on the bottom of the deck. Some of you there's a bit of a social change that you're going through. You may be seeing different people or like discovering a new friend group. Some of you, you're not going to be hanging out with the same people, or there's like a particular group that some changes are happening to it and it may not be resonating with you as much. Like Death card can be a challenge for us, and it does feel like it's something socially going on. But the reason why Death card can be a challenge is because it can be something that we were doing that feels really familiar to us. It feels, again, like in a social setting. So this can be like a club that you had been going to, or like a friend group that you'd been hanging with, or like a particular person that you've been spending time with. And Death card is like, you have to give it up because it's not going to allow you to continue to grow, and you're growing. And so it seems like, yeah, Death card is about surrendering something. And as much as you can be like, but I'm so used to doing this, it's for the better, even though it can feel sort of like something is coming to an end or it's dying, but it's only like dying to a new beginning, or like a new friendship, or like a new social system that you're developing, something like that. And it looks like there's a choice that needs to be made, or you like figuring something out or deciding. But I'm also seeing the Four of Swords here as well. So I get you like taking time to recharge. And to start off with the Three of Cups, and then to end over here at this end with the Four of Swords, you go from sort of like being in the middle of something socially to then like being a bit isolated in some way. By yourself, it seems. Maybe looking for guidance as well. Okay, so there is something new that you're doing here. This can also have to do with a move too. Some of you have moved, or you're moving, and like who you were spending a lot of your time with, or like the majority of your time with before, like that's not going to be possible anymore. Death card can be anything that, like what you were doing before, again, socially in some way, because I'm seeing the Three of Cups. Something is changing to that, whether this be something that you're doing like deliberately and specifically, or it's something that because of something else that's going on, it's impacting this now. And Death card usually has to do with like a big like change or event within our lives that makes it kind of like sets us on a different trajectory path we can feel, or however things were going before in a certain area of our lives, it ends up like doing a 180, something like that. And also like to have the Fool, it feels like there's something new or different that you're discovering, and you may feel like you're getting your bearings here. Energy of the Fool can be feeling a bit like the oddball out too. And dealing with that, it's like you're on new land and you're trying to figure out what the best way to walk on it is. And just exploring things, seeing what's out there. It's about like also acclimating too. Prioritizing to what feels important to you. I do feel like you knew this was coming, because having the Four of Swords before the Fool almost feels like you were like prepared to be starting something new or jumping into something. And now you're at that point where you're like figuring out how to swim here. I feel too like your priorities are shifting as well. And that can be something that's being worked out too right now. Because there can be parts of you that are like, prioritize this, and then another part of you is like, no, this is more important. And so I'm seeing that sort of working itself out here, but it can feel very, very uncomfortable. Some of you are having like stomach issues, getting an upset stomach. Feeling anxiety about this. Okay. I wasn't expecting this. I'm seeing the Seven of Swords, and I'm seeing the King of Swords here. And this can be something happening where someone's not being like completely transparent. Like a Seven of Swords can be deliberately confusing things or leaving things out or just not being upfront. I feel like the card is very self-explanatory. It's like somebody sneaking around, and because it's swords, it can be like communicating misinformation or lying about something, or again, like omitting something that one knows is important. And there's a sense of like deliberation and willingness with this. But Seven of Swords is also about when, like, if this is your energy, this is about when we do something that we don't feel good about, and so we don't want to be seen, and so we try to hide, because this card is about hiding. So it's like, I know that I'm doing something that doesn't align with my values, and so like, don't look at me because I'm doing that. And to have the King of Swords, this feels like something that someone is deliberately like speaking out or communicating. The reason why this may have come out too is because I'm seeing somebody feel pretty stressed out about a transition that they're going through, and maybe like a bit torn up about something here. And so their way of dealing with it may be like avoiding or doing something where, I don't know. I feel like somebody's sort of shifting a little bit into maybe more of a shadow energy because they're feeling kind of triggered because something's feeling difficult for them. Because the only court card that I'm seeing here is the King of Swords. And so I do feel like this is your energy, or like somebody that you're directly interacting with. But I feel like it's still a little bit vague, so we're gonna get more details about this. This is either like a familiar pattern. Let's leave it at that. This feels like a familiar pattern here, but it may have been something that was brought up through somebody going through something stressful. Death card are event, like what's associated with the Death card, it's big things like that would be psychologically stressful for a person, and the less like willing they are to adapt, the more challenging it can be. And those are like always the prime times for our shadow to pop up, because it's like, let's just deal with it this way because like you're not strong enough to like face this. And so it's our ego's way of trying to protect us, but it can have us doing things that when we check in, it's like, that's really like not aligned for me, or like I would be so embarrassed if this person knew what I was doing, or like I don't like that I'm doing this. It's that sort of stuff that like we don't feel good about when we participate in. I feel strongly like this is something having to do with communication, or like communication is involved in this somehow. Hold on, just give me a second to move through. There's something here going on socially, but I get that someone is also supposed to be like prioritizing something else that they're going through, which may not be as fun as like maybe ways that they could be distracting themselves. And the way that this is coming through is like 5 of Wands leading into 8 of Wands leading into the 7 of Swords here can be like, because of things feeling like they're in this space where a lot is being figured out and there's a lack of stability, because this card does not feel like stability. This can be like everything is changing in a huge way and nothing feels familiar to me and I feel very uncomfortable. And so I'm seeing, like, because of the conflict that one feels because of this can also be something happening where you get put in a position where you're like, I didn't choose this and now I have to deal with it. You can feel like that. And 5 of Wands can be either fighting with somebody close to you and or feeling this internal conflict. And then it looks like 8 of Wands, like where somebody goes based off of that, is 7 of Swords. So that's like doing something shady, doing something that one would not want everybody to know about. And I'm seeing there's like a decision that needs to be made and communication. So it feels like this would be somebody coming clean potentially about something here. And but that may mean that something's going to pause, and that may not be what somebody wants to happen. I feel like this is a bit of a puzzle. I will say this as well. Some of you, you can be like plopped into new territory energetically, okay? And there's something that you're trying to break away from, like a pattern or something that you don't do anymore. And because of this feeling unfamiliar, there's something here about like potentially going back to old ways. It's like something that, yeah, something about going back to old ways here. I'm also seeing too, the 10 of Cups was behind the King of Swords here, and I didn't see that initially. So this can be needing to have a discussion with somebody about like genuinely like what you're feeling and how you're feeling and whether or not you feel like content with something. Because maybe you haven't been being honest about your feelings. But I do, having 5 of Wands and having the 7 of Swords, it feels very much like when you get in an argument with somebody and so you're like do something disrespectful maybe. You know? Or like maybe you feel like somebody's distracted with something, so it's like, let me just get away with this. But this is also interplay within you too, or the person that you're dealing with. So know that like, if this is all definitely happening within a person, but it can also be happening within a relationship. The internal like plane of this, or like level of this that we can talk about, is that somebody may feel internally conflicted, and because they're using their energy to work something out, their subconscious energy may be doing something that's going to sabotage things, and they may not be like fully or completely aware of this. And so I'm seeing that now at this point, when they do become aware of it, it looks like a decision needs to be made to rectify something. Having the 2 of Swords and the King of Swords here. So this would be like needing to set something straight or communicate something or be honest about something. And it feels like it's connected with somebody's like emotional well-being in some way. But this can also be, let's say the 7 of Swords is going to be like somebody's energy regardless, but also if you feel like it's not only yours and it's also the other person's energy, this can be you not like something not sitting well with you, and you're already trying to deal with being in like an uncomfortable or unfamiliar space, and you may have something that you're intuitively picking up on, but you're ignoring it. Because this can be like, there could be changes, or there can be something going on that's triggering this for you, where you're like, I don't feel good about this, or I feel like I'm going in a direction that's like not aligned for me, or just something isn't right with this, but I'm going along with it anyway. It can be something like that, where the Seven of Swords is like, don't address it, like do something else about it instead. And it's not actually going to resolve the issue. It may temporarily make you feel better, but it seems like long term it's something that would need to be, it would affect you and needs to be addressed. This can also be you calling something out too. Like maybe you're picking up on somebody's vibes and being like, I feel like something's going on and you're not saying it, and I'm letting you know that I'm sensing something, you know? And some of you, this feels like reminiscent of a cycle that you've been through before. Be honest with yourself here. For those of you that... Be honest with yourself here. For those of you that you're picking up on something, you don't want to ignore it. Because if you ignore this now and don't do something about it, or don't say something about it, especially if you're picking up somebody else's energy and you just feel like something's up, make the decision to say something about it, because this is you making a decision that is like protecting your mental health and also like your happiness further down the line, even if that means an immediate change now or a shift now. Because one, I feel like you're in an uncomfortable, unfamiliar space. I feel like some really big life transition is in the middle of happening, so this may feel like a super inconvenient time for something like this to be popping up. And I get the vibe too that you may be feeling like somebody's energy where you feel like something's up with it, and if you ignore it, it's going to be something that you're going to start trying to build a foundation with somebody in this new place where you are, and then like this thing isn't going to go away and it's going to crumble for you, and that's when you're going to hit the tower. So this is like, do something about it now before you build and then it gets knocked over anyway. Because I get, for some of you, you're looking at this and you're like, well, if I ignore it we can build then, but it's like, it's going to get knocked over. So it's just something to keep in mind here as you're moving through. But the thing is that you get to choose what you want to do, but do it with like full consciousness, so you know what's going to happen either way, regardless of what you do. Just want to go into it with like an awareness, so you're not caught off guard. You want to know all of your options and see what feels best for you to do here. I'm just seeing Scorpio, so we're actually going to label this as a Scorpio reading. But I think, wait, hold on. I think I may have said it was Aquarius in the beginning. Maybe you guys are dealing with a Scorpio. I have to like go back and look. I'm sorry guys, we can label it as Aquarius and also Scorpio, but there's a really, really strong Scorpio energy here. So I feel like Scorpio will also resonate with this as well. So if I said Aquarius in the beginning, it's going to be for both of you guys. All right. Anything else? The last two cards out that we have are the Ace of Cups and also the Ace of Swords. And so this would be speaking about a connection. And Ace of Swords is a moment where you feel like you have the mental clarity that you've been seeking, most likely about a connection that you're involved in. And Queen of Wands on the bottom of the deck is about trusting yourself to do what you need to do here, and believing in yourself, and having self-respect, whatever that looks like for you. Okay, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.